Aliens run a brutal military academy and assume human recruits will crumble under their advanced conditioning. The humans treat the grueling trials like playful recess or summer camp, casually enduring what breaks other species. Commander Vex Thor stood before the assembled recruits, all four of his arms crossed in what his species considered an intimidating posture. The holographic display behind him cycled through images of previous training casualties, beings who had washed out, broken down, or simply fled, screaming into the void of space. "Welcome," he began, his translator rendering his clicks and whistles into standard galactic, "to the most grueling military preparation program in known space. 60% of recruits do not survive the first week. 85% never see graduation." His compound eyes swept across the assembled crowd. Chitinous Krell warriors stood at rigid attention. Crystalline Luxians hummed nervously. Gaseous Nephrons floated in their containment suits, already looking anxious. And then there were the humans, 12 of them, clustered together near the back, whispering, and was that one smiling? Vex Thor's mandibles clicked in irritation. "You 12, humans. Perhaps you didn't hear the translation. This is not a leisure facility. This is a crucible. You will be broken down and rebuilt into weapons." One of the humans, a female with her hair pulled back, raised her hand. "Sorry, sir. Quick question. Do we get weekends off, or is this more of a continuous thing?" Several aliens gasped. A Krell warrior's exoskeleton audibly cracked under sudden tension. Vex Thor's translator emitted what might have been a growl. "There are no weekends here, recruit. There is only training, sleep deprivation, pain, suffering, the forging of your weak flesh into something useful." Cool, the human nodded, seemingly taking notes. "And is there, like, a canteen? I'm just wondering about snacks." Drill instructor Kales watched the monitor screens with growing confusion 3 days later. The endurance trial was designed to push recruits to the absolute limit of their species' capabilities. 36 hours of continuous physical exertion across hostile terrain, with minimal water and no food. On screen 7, a Krell warrior had collapsed, his translator broadcasting desperate pleas for mercy. On screen 12, 3 Luxians had formed a crystalline barrier and simply refused to continue. On screen 18, the humans were singing. "What are they doing?" Kales demanded, zooming in the feed. His assistant, a nervous trill named Sekpor, checked the audio translation. "It appears to be a marching cadence, sir. Something about bottles of beer on a wall." They watched as the 12 humans jogged. Actually jogged. Not the desperate stumbling the trial was designed to induce, across the rocky terrain. One of them was doing something with his hands, weaving what appeared to be decorative items from the local vegetation. "Is that one making friendship bracelets?" Kales asked, his voice hollow. "I believe so, sir." Another human cupped her hands around her mouth and called to the others. "Hey, last one to checkpoint Delta buys the first round when we get home." They sped up. "They're racing," Kales said numbly. "They think this is a race." By hour 40, when they finally reached the endpoint, the humans were tired but functional. One of them, a male called Rodriguez, actually looked disappointed. "That's it?" he asked the monitoring drone. "My high school cross-country coach used to make us do worse than this. In the snow, uphill, both ways." The drone, having no protocol for this response, simply beeped. Dr. Thelus prided herself on her psychological warfare protocols. She had broken the will of countless species, reducing even the proudest warriors to quivering shells ready to accept any command. The human in the isolation chamber had been there for 72 hours. No light, no sound, no sensory input whatsoever. It was enough to drive most species to madness within a day. She activated the speaker. "Recruit Jackson, how are you feeling?" "Oh, hey." The human's voice was cheerful. "Is it day 3 already?" "Man, time flies. This is actually pretty nice. Super restful. I've been working through some stuff, you know. really processing my feelings about my breakup last year. Also, I've been designing a house in my head. Want to hear about the kitchen? Thelus's tendrils twitched in confusion. You're not distressed? Distressed? Nah, though I could go for some water. And maybe some of those snacks from the question on day 1. Are those happening? Thelus checked her readings. The human's vitals were stable, calmer even than when he'd entered. This is impossible. The isolation should have... Oh, isolation. Yeah, man, I do silent meditation retreats sometimes. Did a 10-day Vipassana last year. This is basically that, but with better insulation. The walls here are really well made. Thelus ended the communication and immediately opened the next chamber, where a human female named Chen had been exposed to aggressive audio conditioning. Discordant sounds, frequency shifts, everything designed to prevent coherent thought. How are you, Recruit Chen? Annoyed, honestly, Chen replied. Your sounds are interfering with the song I had stuck in my head. Can you maybe turn it down? I was almost at the good part. Weapons Master Throck stood in the training circle 2 weeks into the program, his 400 pounds of muscle and bioengineered combat enhancement ready. The next human approached, a smaller male they called Tommy, who couldn't have weighed more than 170 pounds. This is full contact training, Throck announced. I will not hold back. You will learn through pain, or you will learn nothing. Rad, Tommy said, bouncing on his toes. My older brothers used to beat me up all the time. This is basically a family reunion, Throck charged. 20 seconds later, Throck was on his back, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what had happened. Oh, sorry. Tommy was helping him up. Did I go too hard? My bad. Sometimes I forget not everyone grew up with 3 older siblings and unsupervised access to wrestling moves. Over the next hour, Throck fought all 12 humans. He landed solid hits on each, blows that should have sent them crying from the ring. They took the impacts, shook them off, and came back grinning. Good one, Rodriguez said after taking a hit that cracked 2 of his ribs. My turn. This is fun. Chen laughed, nursing what was definitely a concussion. Way better than my kickboxing gym back home. You guys really commit to the bit. By the end, Throck was exhausted. The humans were bruised, battered, and still somehow treating the entire experience like it was recreational. Same time tomorrow? One of them asked hopefully. Commander Vex Thor sat in the review chamber with his entire training staff 3 weeks into the program. Before them, holographic displays showed the progress of all recruit cohorts. The Krell cohort has been reduced to 40% capacity, reported Kalis, the Luxians to 22%, the Nephrons to 15%, and the humans, Vex Thor asked, though he already knew, 100% retention, sir. 0 washouts, 0 psychological breaks, 0 stress-related medical incidents. Kalis paused. One of them did request more activities because he was getting bored. Dr. Thelus added her report. I've analyzed their psychological profiles extensively. They have a cultural concept called voluntarily chosen difficulty. They routinely undergo hardship for recreation. They call it camping and hiking and extreme sports. They pay currency to experience physical discomfort. One of them, Weapons Master Throck said quietly, his pride still wounded, compared our advanced combat conditioning to something called Mall Karate and asked if we had any real training. Vex Thor was silent for a long moment. Recommendations? We could increase the difficulty, Kalis suggested without conviction. To what end? Thelus's tendrils drooped. They're already performing at levels that exceed our designed maximums. Yesterday, 3 of them asked if they could do extra training. For fun. What about the obstacle course? Vex Thor asked. The one designed for Special Forces candidates? They call it the Jungle Gym, Throck muttered. They've started rating each other's runs and creating competitions. Vex Thor pulled up the latest footage. The humans were in their barracks, tired from a day that should have hospitalized them. They were laughing, sharing contraband food they'd somehow smuggled in, and one of them was teaching the others a complicated hand game while another gave an apparently very funny dramatic reading of the training manual. They've bonded over the shared hardship, Thelis observed. It's made them stronger, more cohesive. Everything we designed to break them has just made them into better soldiers and better friends, Carlos added, pointing to the screen where Rodriguez was braiding Chen's hair while Jackson told a story that had the whole group in hysterics. Vexthor made a decision. Accelerate them to advanced training. If they want difficulty, we'll give them officer candidate protocols. Sir, that course has a 98% failure rate. For other species, Vexthor said grimly. I suspect the humans will ask if they can do it twice. The humans stood before the command staff at the 30-day mark, technically still weeks away from the scheduled graduation. They were bruised, scarred, and utterly unbowed. You've completed every trial we've designed, Vexthor told them, most in record time, many with what appears to be genuine enjoyment. This has been awesome, Tommy said honestly, like legitimately one of the best training programs I've ever done. It's not over, Vexthor warned. You still have... Can we do it again? Jackson interrupted. Like, is there an advanced course? Because I feel like we're just getting warmed up. The entire command staff stared. Your species is insane, Thelis said, not unkindly. Clinically, demonstrably insane. Yeah, Chen agreed cheerfully. But we're really good at it. Vexthor looked at his fellow instructors, seeing his own resignation reflected in their expressions. Humanity hadn't just survived their academy. They'd turned it into summer camp. Advanced training begins tomorrow, he said finally. Double intensity. The humans high-fived. Somewhere in the galactic military database, a new entry was being created, warning. Human recruits require non-standard training protocols. Standard conditioning insufficient. Recommend advanced difficulty as baseline. Note, they seem to enjoy it more that way. Commander Vexthor watched them file out, already chattering excitedly about the next challenge, and wondered if perhaps the galaxy's definition of advanced conditioning needed to be completely reconsidered, or maybe humans were just built different, probably both.